give all credit to Florida State. I thought for really the entire game they were by far the tougher team. I thought our guards got manhandled. They just shot over the top of our guards, especially in the second half. And they've got a really, really good team that's really athletic. We knew that coming in. We have 5, I think, first half turnovers, and in the second half we double that. And so we got manhandled. Our guards got pushed around. They got the spots where they wanted to. They ran runner action just like Kentucky did, and they got in the lane, shot right over us. And our inability to keep the ball out of the lane, especially in the second half, killed us.
Chris, is that a correctable problem with the personnel you have?
We have to be a lot tougher. I mean, we're not going to correct our height. It's going to be what it is. But we could have done a much better job and need to do a much better job of not letting players to get to their spots so close to the rim and shoot right over the top of us. So if we'd have done a better job of whipping a few of the screens so that the angle wasn't given to them to get in the lane, then their shots would have been a little bit further out.
Seems like Jordan was really the only one who could get anything going today offensively. Were you disappointed that no one else was able to kind of back him up?
Well, against Florida State, you have to be able to make plays. They're going to deny every pass along the perimeter, so our guards had the ball in their hand the majority of the time, and we knew that was going to happen. You watch, literally every game they've played. Over the last 5 games, I think they're turning teams over 19 times. And it's those teams that are trying to, reverse the ball and move the ball. So we knew that our best chance was to try to get the ball in the lane through post-ups, which, again, were non-existent. And then our ability to break our man off the dribble, get in the lane, and then make the right play. We got a few shots blocked. We missed a lot around the rim. But as much as I'm going to malign the offense, you give Florida State credit the way they play defense, but it was our defense and our inability to play defense the way we need to play in order to compete in this league.
You stuck with a 3-guard lineup for a while there in the first half. What was the goal of that?
Well, the goal was David was really playing well. I didn't want to pull him out. And, obviously you have to have guys that can handle the ball, make plays, get in the lane, to alleviate that pressure. You either drive pressure or you post up a mismatch. And so, it really doesn't necessarily matter if we're not running a ton of set plays, which are sort of tough to get the ball reversed and entered where you want. So we could have played really any combination. I thought that was the best combination at that time to get the ball into the lane.
You mentioned David, and obviously he seemed like he played a few more minutes today, and it seems like he's coming along. How important is it for you to help guys like himself and Sam and some of the other newcomers progress as the season goes on? Well,
a lot of their progression at times takes place away from fans. It's just the everyday grind of practice. Their understanding of our system, the repetitions they get, and certainly we want to get them out on the game floor because there's also a lot to be said for learning and making mistakes and making plays to help your team win on the game floor. And I thought David, again, like a lot of freshmen, made some good and did some not so good. We got to continue to play him. Well, one of the things that we sort of balance as a staff is trying to get David in. And, it's no secret Ryan hasn't played as well as he did maybe the first 7 or 8 games. And I thought Fresh has really played, pretty daggone well to this point. And when Darius and Ryan start, you essentially have 2 guys that only play the point guard position on the bench. So it's like a bakery line for David to ever get in the game. By the time we even get to him, there's 9-8 minutes left on the clock in the first half. And so by starting Fresh, now you have an opportunity where David could be the first point guard sub in the game and maybe enter the game at 16, 15, get a better feel for the game. And again, I think he's making plays and he presents some different things than our other point guards do.
Chris, there was so much talk about Florida State turning teams over coming into this game. Did you think your 16 turnovers were a product of their defense or just what you guys were doing with the ball?
Well, I thought in the first half we did a tremendous job. We took care of the ball. We miss so many shots around the paint, and Florida State does that. They block a lot of shots, they alter things, but I thought we were getting some great looks. If you sort of put in last year's tape and then you compared it this year, we as a staff must have watched our Florida State game 5 or 6 times, just our offensive possessions. And as close of a game as it was, and it went down to the wire and whatnot, we could not get good looks. And I thought in the first half we were getting pretty daggone good looks, open threes, shots at the rim. We didn't do that in the second half. We also had some killer turnovers in transition. Not even in the half court, but just we get a stop defensively. Now we're pushing it up, and now we advance the ball, and Florida State does a great job of reading our eyes, and a couple car crashes, and the ball's loose, and they're going the other way with it, and just sort of back-breaking at the moment. But despite all that, we got it to a 5-point game with our 2-3 zone, and they wore us down, and our guards have to be a lot better.
Coach, why do you think Ryan McMahon has struggled of late?
I don't know. He's a senior. He's got to figure it out. He had open looks. He's defensively, he's not who he's been in the first part of the season, and we need him to be better. He's a fifth-year senior. He's got to get a little tougher and fight through a little bit of adversity. And if he does that, then he'll return to the player that he's been. And so I have a ton of confidence. I probably have more confidence in Ryan than he has in himself right now. But the last thing he can do is feel sorry for himself.
That was going to be my next follow-up question about his confidence. I mean, has he been the same player in practice in terms of confidence?
He needs to be better. And I don't mean the confidence. He needs to play better. He needs to be tougher, both mentally and physically, for him to be a better player.
Dwayne does a lot of stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but he only had 3 points today.
He didn't play very well. We need Dwayne to do more than, at halftime, I think he had 0 points and 1 rebound. I know he didn't play 18 minutes in the first half. He played closer to 10. But, again, another fifth-year senior that has to figure it out for us to be the team that we're capable of being. And he's been doing that his whole career, figuring it out and being a guy that we can count on to be a warrior. But, games like today against an elite-level team, we need him to be engaged and productive right from the very beginning. And we need it. He's one of our most experienced players. He knows that.
One more. Zone defense, your impression on how this team is, I guess, progressing and learning the zone defense that you're trying to throw out there?
Well, their ability to just get in the lane with that little baseline runner action was crippling us there for a bit. Just was. They got to the spot, they rose, they made the shot. And so we felt like a switch was necessary. It did its job in the very beginning. They started to flash a guy at the high post in Vassell, and he hit a couple shots, and they got a little bit more confidence in that. So we opted to, not ride it out throughout the rest of the game, but, maybe used it one other time. So it's a curveball. We got to be better than giving up 55% from the field, no matter if we play man, zone, or you name it.